Hey guys, welcome to Taste of BPCC. I'm Brandon Hilliard. I'm here with Sean Belcher. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad.
You didn't. Sean Belcher is correct.
All right, so what are we cooking today?
We're going to be having a sweet potato fry, which is cut. I'm going to have cinnamon sugar on it.
Okay.
And the meat is going to be a Philly cheesesteak, but it's going to be in a flour tortilla.
All right, so let's go ahead and prepare those fries.
Okay.
I know you said that those take a little while to
They
do.
do. They take at least 30 minutes, and just kind of depends on preference, how you want them, crunchy or not. But I do them in the oven. One, it's healthier.
Okay.
And then second, you got the foil, less work. I mean, you just take them out, and there's nothing to wash.
Yeah.
Good to go. And, we're always in a rush, right?
Yes.
So here are the sliced sweet potatoes. I'm just going to take them. My oven, I've got it preheated to 425. In which they'll go in there for, like I say, 20 minutes, 25, 30 tops, but it should work.
Okay.
What I've got here is probably, which would be maybe a half a stick of butter at your house, those little sticks you get.
Okay.
I'm just going to slice off some, put it on top of the sweet potatoes. And this right here is it's kind of like whenever you do the sweet potato casserole at the house, the marshmallows, the more the merrier, so don't be afraid to use it.
Okay, so what is the butter? Is it just kind of keeping it from sticking to everything?
Well, yes, it's not going to stick to the foil, and it should give it a little flavor.
Okay.
Okay? So I got 2 pieces of foil. It's kind of a thin foil. If you have a real thick foil at home, you don't have to have 2, but what I'm doing here is just kind of leaving room for air to circulate. It's making like a pocket for steam.
Okay. So it's almost like cooking steamed vegetables, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I'm going to use this tray here. It'll help us take it out of the oven whenever it's ready.
Okay.
And we can go to the oven with it.
All right, now we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with more of Taste of BPCC.
You always made sure I brushed my teeth.
You told me that smart was cool.
You always told me to dream big.
To all of those parents who took the time to make raising their children their most important job, we'd like to say,
thank you.
Thank you.
From the bottom of my heart, thanks, Mom and Dad.
This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Welcome back. Now we're going to cook, I guess, this Philly cheesesteak,
Yes,
right?
it is a Philly cheesesteak. Some like them, I love them. And what I'm doing here that's just a little different is I'm putting this in a flour tortilla. It's going to be similar to that of like a grilled burrito kind of, you go to Taco Bell, you got the grilled burrito there, that kind of deal. That's what gave me the idea. So I'm going to give it a shot and see if you like it.
Oh yeah, I love Philly cheesesteak. It's a great dish. It's always been something I enjoy.
One of my favorites.
Kind of like fajitas, but it's not exactly. It doesn't have that same kick, I guess.
My meat is skirt steak, and what I did to marinate this, you can do it overnight is best, but just a couple hours.
Okay.
Get your Ziploc bag. You see about the size steak I have. You can cut it before. I like to cut it after, because it seems whenever I cook it, it sears in the juices a little more. But what I've got for the marinade, you got a few things. You've got Worcestershire sauce.
Okay.
You've got crushed red pepper, and that just depends on your preference on spice. And then you've got salt. And you got pepper. You can't go wrong with those right there.
Yeah, that's the 2 generics.
And to each, you use what you really like. If you're more of a crushed red pepper guy, like it spicy, use it. Black pepper, salt, just rock it out, man. You can't go wrong. It's not going to mess up.
All right, so let's get started here.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I've got some skillets that are heating here, and I'm going to take this meat and I'm going to lay it in this bigger skillet.
Okay. So we have a larger skillet and a smaller one. I guess the smaller one's going to be for these vegetables,
It is. The smaller one I'm going to use for the vegetables, in which I have mushroom, I have onion.
Okay.
You can use white onion, red onion, yellow. It doesn't matter.
Whatever preference.
And bell pepper. And this, it doesn't have to be any certain amount,
Okay.
This is probably 2 or 3 bell peppers. They were kind of small. You've seen some that are really big. One would probably work in that case. and that goes with anything. The onions, the mushroom, you want to use, if you like mushroom, you want to use a little more because they are going to cook down.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're going to shrink down
Yes,
whenever
they
you
are.
cook them more. All right.
So here we go with the onion first. I'm sorry. Let me get this oil. This is vegetable oil in the pan for the onion.
Okay.
And bell pepper and the
mushrooms?
okay, mushrooms. Sorry. Okay, we're just going to rake it all in there at once.
Oh yeah. Got a little sizzle going. It's almost like almost like fajitas now with that sizzle going, right?
Good sound. Grab the rest of these.
So how long do we cook the steak for? Is there a designated time for that, or is it just kind of a temperature base, or?
It's probably going to go 2 to 3 minutes each side.
Okay.
And then you can kind of like tell from there. We'll look at it.
Okay. So
And,
what's our next step? Do we have anything that we need to do now?
Well, our next step is going to be, we'll get these things out of the way here. Set them over on this side. You need to take your tongs and just kind of make the bottom the top the bottom. Just let them all become friends in there. You're just kind of trying to mix them around.
Yeah, you mix them around trying to get them all to cook instead of
Right.
one layer's cooked and one layer's raw.
You know, as far as color, you just want to try and get like the onions where they're kind of translucent.
Okay.
Again, it's preference. Some people like a little more crunch in their vegetable. This is something you're going to cook at your house. Hope you cook it more than once because you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you'll get the feel of it.
Okay, so it's more of a, there's not a time preference, that's mainly
really
just
not.
a color or a
What you
or
want
a
is like
texture.
the onion right now, it still kind of looks like it's natural color.
Okay.
And you're just trying to get a little more translucent to it.
Alright, so
Okay,
you're
kind of
trying
like
to
an
get
opaque
clear.
window.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you start, excuse me, if you start to see like a little charring on the onion, you might want to cut your fire down a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
And what about mushrooms? Is it kind of the same thing? It's cooked mushrooms as long as you cook the onions, or?
The mushrooms should be fine.
Okay,
They,
however long?
Yes, they're going to have a little more juice in them. The onions have juices as well. I'm going to turn my steak now
Okay.
and get him on the other side there.
Ooh, that looks good.
It's
Got
a
that.
good sear, and if you're afraid about sticking, just a little more oil will prevent that.
Okay. Give it a nice little sizzle too, right?
It will.
So
Yeah.
now, what is the steak gonna do as far as taste? Is it gonna taste more like
It's gonna
your traditional fajitas, or
no,
is
it's
it-
gonna have a traditional steak taste.
Okay.
You know, different cuts of steak. You know, we got like your filet mignon. It's
Yeah.
gonna be real tender. That would almost be a shame to the filet mignon to use on the Philly cheesesteak. You know,
Yeah.
to cut it up and damage it like that. But this right here is a skirt steak. It's a good steak to sear, cook like this in the oil, and then just slice, which we'll do in a minute.
Okay.
I'm just again going to kind of like just move it around a little bit.
So keeping it moving so it doesn't burn too bad.
And you could even cook this on the grill if you wanted to.
Okay.
Okay, you could bring your onions outside if you're trying to have a little time with the family. Do everything on the grill.
Okay. Have
You'd
an adult beverage maybe?
You'd have a skillet on the grill
Yeah,
because the onions will fall through and stuff. But other than that, I say just whichever suits you. You know, raining today.
Yeah,
obviously,
I don't think it could do that.
It's a good rainy day meal. It's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
Those sweet potatoes, remember we put them in the oven.
Yep.
They've probably been going for a few minutes now. Sure, they're getting happy with that butter melting in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And in a little while, we'll have the cinnamon sugar. It's just like a 50-50 mixture on that. Okay. You can mix up a bunch, store it, put it in a Ziploc bag.
And
good
just
to go for
cook
the
them
next
whenever
time.
you want
That's right.
them. Okay. What is the other? I guess that's another half stick of butter.
It's about a half stick. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little and I'm going to put it on top of this steak
Okay.
and a little along with the vegetables there.
Okay. What's that going to do to the steak? Is that got a special effect on it? Just more flavor?
Butter just rocks, man.
This is true.
I love butter. You know?
I can't complain with that.
Now, I'm not Paula Deen with this whole stuff. I'm not trying to clog up the world, but a little bit, it's just going to rock it out.
Excuse me. Man, that steak is looking so good right now. The vegetables look really good too. The onions are getting a little bit translucent, not too much.
They are. They're
starting
coming
to clear
along.
up a
I'm
little
going to
bit.
move that down just a little bit, that fire.
It smells amazing. I wish everyone that's watching this could smell this right now. But
Maybe.
if you cook it at home, you will get to smell
Maybe we'll get to smell-o-vision one day.
This would
We're
be
getting
awesome.
there.
Yes,
You know,
it
there's
would.
an app for it somewhere. Just we haven't found it
Somebody's
yet.
developing it somewhere.
Exactly.
Maybe in China.
The tortilla I'm going to be using, you can get these at any store. You have 8, 10-inch tortillas, and you have what they call large.
Okay.
And this is a large tortilla.
Okay.
We'll be using that a little bit later.
And is there any prep to that, or is it just kind of a raw? Do you warm it up?
I've just got it sitting here. The heat from the food should make it soft enough to where I can fold it.
Okay.
And now they've been in the refrigerator. You might want to let them sit out a little bit.
Okay.
But the heat from the food, once I get it on there, should allow enough steam itself so I can fold the tortilla. And then I'll just put it down in the skillet and get a little grill to it. You know, like the grilled chimichangas or grilled whatever that you have from grilled burrito from Taco Bell.
Okay. Now the cheese, when do we add that in? Is that kind of...
That's going to go right on top as we fold it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put it down in the skillet one more
so
time.
that's where the melting is going to come in.
That's
from.
right. That's right.
Okay.
So let's do him. All right, now we're getting close to good on the steak.
All
So
right.
I'm just going to kind of keep that warm.
It's looking really good, I can tell you that.
Thank you, thank you. All right. So we just let that continue to cook, probably just a couple more minutes. I'm going to take the steak off and cut it up.
All right, and we'll toss it to a break really quick, and we'll be right back with more Taste of BPCC.
Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 58 years old. 8 years into the disease was when all the light went out.
For me, it was heart-wrenching.
Looking into the eyes of somebody with Alzheimer's, sometimes you just don't see the person's soul is like gone.
And it takes a toll on everyone. I mean, it's a depressing disease to watch unfold before your eyes.
She actually thought those of us who were caring for her and who loved her most were her worst enemies.
More and more responsibilities fell on my shoulders.
This disease just ravages a family.
It changes your life.
The magnitude of it is indescribable. My mother taught me to be in the moment.
We have to live in the moment with them.
And I'm going to be with that person right now in this moment, wherever she is.
Now is the moment. If we work together, we can stop this epidemic.
Contact Bright Focus and learn more.
Welcome back to Taste of BPCC. I'm Brandon Hilliard, and I'm here with Sean. We're cooking Philly cheesesteak. Is that correct?
Philly cheesesteak today. And
Philly
we're going to be
cheesesteak.
putting it inside of this flour tortilla instead of the typical bread.
All right, so the steak is ready now.
It
so
is.
What is our step on cooking? I know some people like to take theirs and slice it really thin or thick.
Right. We're just going to kind of just cut it up. You know, I
Cut
don't
it
know
up?
if you call
Okay.
it thin, but just cut.
Okay.
So I'm going to
just
let some of those juices come off of there just a little bit. Set them down on my cutting board.
All right.
And you can let it sit for a little while if you want. Some people, they're firm believers in that.
Yeah.
That's really more for if this is going straight to your plate as the meat itself.
Okay.
But being that's going in this Philly cheesesteak, it shouldn't be a big deal. I'm
Okay.
just going in right now because it's smelling good. So I'm
Yes,
ready.
it is.
So we're going to go
Smells very, very good.
slice this like so.
Beautiful color. The outside of the steak looks amazing.
Yes, you're not trying to absolutely cook it to where there's just, nothing left of it. You really want a little of the pink left inside. I know some people, they love it. Oh, I want it burned all the way. But we're going to be cooking just a little bit more with the vegetables.
So that would cook it all the way.
Yes, but I mean, it's just a second. It's just to infuse a couple of the flavors.
Okay. So once we get it cut up, you put it inside of this flour tortilla with some vegetables, some cheese, and...
I'm going to move it back into this skillet that I had the
Okay.
meat in and just kind of mix everything around real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll put it inside the flour tortilla.
Okay, that's going to be really good. I can already... The smell of just this meat is amazing in itself.
So here we go. I'm just going to get some of the vegetables that we had.
So I can see some of the spices left in that, so I guess that's going to kind of infuse into those peppers as well?
That it will.
And grab some of the meat.
This is our meat. Turn this up just a little bit more here.
So get some heat on it, finish off the little bit of meat on the inside.
And you've probably seen maybe Philly cheesesteaks cooked in certain restaurants and at the fair. And that's great when you got the big flat top griddle, you know, you move everything together and chop, chop, chop. But a lot of us at our house, we don't have that. I don't have that. I have a couple of skillets and I have a stove top, you know. So that's why I've started doing it this way. It just really, really helps.
This almost looks better than I've seen it on a flat top.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
It smells amazing. I love the smell of Philly cheesesteak at the State Fair, which is coming soon. But this is off the charts. It is.
It's great.
It smells amazing. I hand it to you. My cap is off.
And as you see, I've got enough for two if I wanted to do that, or if you wanted to have an extra piece of meat, you know, later that night.
Yeah, you can put that in a Ziploc and have it for a midnight snack.
Absolutely.
So that's almost done now, right?
Right. We are actually done.
Okay.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to get this flour tortilla in front of me and put this on there.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and do that. I'll help you out as much as I can.
Okay.
Don't let me get in your way. So I'll
swap spots here.
Swap spots.
Thank you.
And that looks amazing. Just this right here. I could just cut into that.
All right. We got him.
So is there a trick to layering this perfectly to where it
There's not. It's going to be folded in there.
It's just stuff it in there as well as you can.
The meat and the vegetables don't care if you don't. I promise you. They're going to be just fine either way.
It's all going to the same spot.
That's right.
Ooh. Okay. This smells amazing. I know that people think some things smell better than others. This is the best smelling Philly cheesesteak I've ever seen.
This cheese is a shredded provolone. You can use slices of provolone if you want.
Okay.
The fold to this is fairly easy. You just take these sides, do like so one time, bring this next side in, and just put this side down.
Okay.
Okay.
So now you just have a big burrito.
Right. Let him sit for just a second. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of these. Let me get a towel. That handle's kind of hot. I'm going to take the rest of these vegetables and just move them into here.
Okay. So you're consolidating everything into one so you have a good pan.
Man, I just don't enjoy washing dishes. If there's anybody out there who does, you can use as many skillets as you want to.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody, I don't like washing dishes. I've never enjoyed that, even though I like cooking. I guess that's a part of cooking, though, is washing the dishes, right?
Part of it. You got to do it eventually, but if you can cut back on it, why not? And I'm just going to get the skillet a little warm again.
All right. So that I get what you're going to do is just put it on and brown it on both sides?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
All right. And the butter, is there any more?
I'll probably use a little butter in this skillet since we got it.
Okay.
You know, like I said, I love it. It rocks out.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. Butter. I'm going to move this one out of my way for now.
All right.
We're done with him. And like I say, you got all kinds of good flavor in there.
You got some bell pepper, some onion, a little bit of mushroom flavor coming on in there.
Let's take
now
a
we got
little
that
bit
butter.
Of this. Let's do it.
And it's just hot enough to melt that butter enough.
Right, but you don't want to get it too hot because keep in mind butter is one of those that it'll burn quick.
Yeah.
So take him. Your hands are really great tools. I mean, they work great.
Yeah, they work better than. So now you're just kind of making that butter and the oil move forward.
I'm doing like you would a grilled cheese almost. There might be a little more butter in there than there would be for a grilled cheese, but it's kind of the same principle.
Okay. So then you just kind of let that sit and brown on one side and then flip it over and brown it on the other side, right?
Just let it go for a little bit. Check it out, see how it's doing here. It's looking like it's doing okay. flip.
So now we're gonna finish cooking it off. Do we have any other things that we need to do?
No, whenever when this gets done, I'll put it on the plate and just let it sit for a second. And I'll go check on those fries, and I should be able to bring them over, and we'll slice this open and see what she looks like.
All right.
At the house, if you have a nonstick skillet, it's best. It'll keep this from happening. All this is a stainless steel skillet, and because it's not nonstick, anything that we cook, the juices and whatnot, as they burn off, they do adhere themselves to the pan, which is fine for me. We got a huge dishwasher in the kitchen there here at BPCC, so it's not a big a deal. But at your house, maybe an apartment, you might want to rock out that nonstick skillet. You know? It'll keep all this from happening. And
that looks really good. That color, the browning looks good. It smells good. It smells amazing. That cheese is melting, and you're getting the aroma of the cheese and the meat at the same time.
Yes, it's potpourri, that's for sure. I mean, that is what's up. All right. What I'm doing is I'm just taking it out now, and like I say, I'm just going to let it sit while we go check on those fries.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
All right, welcome back to Taste of BPCC. I'm Brandon Hilliard. I'm here with Sean. So we just pulled our fries out of the oven.
That's right.
What's our next step?
They were in there for, like, say, 30 minutes.
30 minutes,
And our next step, what I like to do, just because I think it's fun, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a little bit of a sizzle. There was a little bit of a sizzle, and that's the butter. You know, and
so
that's that we put.
Yeah, so it's
I love
still
that little
simmering a
sound.
little bit?
Yeah. So I just like to take it and just give them a little shake, just make sure they're kind of all going to get, you know, covered with that.
Okay.
All right. And then you just grab you a knife. This is a little warm, so be careful of steam coming out. Give it a little slit.
Oh, those look really good.
And those are the oven-baked sweet potato fries. You can see they're tender.
Oh, they are very, very tender. And it smells really good right now, too. It's not just the look of it, even just with butter on it. It smells
love
good.
Them. I mean, it's I would love to
eat it
say
just like that.
that I grew up on these and that, you know, my body didn't like take in tons and tons of regular French fries over the years, but you're trying to do a little bit better, this is the way to go.
Yes.
Cinnamon sugar is your new salt, okay? And again, as much as makes you happy.
And do you need to kind of close it up and mix it up anymore?
No, I would just leave them like that. Get a pair of tongs from this side here. And we'll just plate a little bit of these guys.
Ooh. Now they smell even more amazing.
You see the butter in the bottom.
Oh, yeah,
that was that little
it.
sizzle that
You
I was
see
talking
it.
about. Yeah. So good. A few more. Why not? A couple for the road, man.
Get lots of good sweet potato fry in there. Oh, you were completely fine.
Okay, and look, always, you know, a little
Throw some
table
more on
salt,
there,
so to
right?
speak. Table cinnamon sugar, whichever. Okay.
A little salt shaker full of it, kind of throw it on there.
That's right. And this guy, we've let him sit for just a little while. So what I'm going to do, make it easier to eat, is just slice into it.
Mmm. That just looks amazing.
It is very, very tasty.
That melted cheese kind of sticking out there.
Having little troubles there. There we go. And that is the Philly cheesesteak in a flour tortilla with cinnamon sugar sweet potato fries.
And I cannot wait.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
you know, your well-being changes, you know, from loss of hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
All right, so we're back now, and we are getting ready to taste this.
Yes.
So, and this is Philly cheesesteak with sweet potato fries, but they're in the oven. Now, I know most people do it in a fryer, right?
Yes, they were done in the oven. You can definitely do them in a fryer. If you got one of those, some people call it like a fry daddy or a fry baby, little round deal.
Yeah, it's a little...
Get them in department stores.
Square thing.
Same thing. You would just slice the fries up, drop them in there just like you would regular potato. They cook about the same amount of time.
Okay.
Take them out, let it drain, put them on a paper towel, and then put your cinnamon sugar mixture on there.
God, that sounds
That'd be
good
just
too.
fine. And if possible, you can maybe use a smaller flour tortilla. You know, I told you we used the large here.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to use a smaller flour tortilla, like you would normally use for, I guess, tacos or something like that, the little guys,
yeah,
just put less on there. Same cooking methods, okay, just less.
Okay.
And when you go to fold it, that folded side goes down in that fryer basket.
Okay.
And then just get you something heavy and
sit on
fryer
top of
safe.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even like if you have a ceramic coffee mug, that could work. I'm just trying to think of things around the house. If you have 2 baskets, that'd be great. But you're just wanting to keep this from floating up in the oil.
Okay.
But if you wanted to fry everything, hey, I love it that way too. I'm just saying, I'm trying to.
Well, it's a little more healthy this way, right?
Yeah, just trying to do a little bit, you know.
So we want to keep our bodies healthy with a healthy food, right?
Yes.
All right, so I don't know about you, but I want to cut into this really fast. I'm first going to try these sweet potato fries. They're so tender.
Is that kind of like a Thanksgiving sort of?
Oh, you hit it on the head with that. And now the little bit more difficult part of cutting into this.
You may have to just attack him. I don't know, but you can try it. Now, if you were to deep fry this like we were talking about, you would have like that snap, like a chimichanga, okay? But the flavor's there.
I can smell the flavor. It smells perfect. Oh, this is gonna be a fun. I'm just gonna get a couple pieces of meat.
You know,
here.
just enjoy it. Yeah.
Give me something.
Right on, man.
Perfect.
Thank you.
That is better than the State Fair. That is restaurant quality.
I
it is
appreciate
perfect.
that.
I really enjoyed this dish and learning how to cook it. This is perfect.
Super.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
for
it
your
for
time.
Taste of BPCC. I'm Brandon Hilliard. We'll see you here next week.